Everyone seeing the screen?
Yes.
Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the annual meeting. First-time attendees, know before you go. I'm Molly McDermott Fallon. I'm the Assistant Vice Provost and University Registrar at the University of Cincinnati.
I'm Cassandra Moore. I'm Director of Admissions and Enrollment Development at Anne Arundel Community College, and I am President-elect of AACRAO. Welcome.
Hello, all. I'm Steve Downing. I'm Dean of Enrollment Management at Bellevue College, and I am one of the co-chairs of volunteers for the Seattle Annual Meeting.
Hello, and I am Chantel Black, the Director of Admissions and Registration and the Registrar for Spokane Community College, and I am the other co-chair of volunteers for AACRAO Seattle in 2025.
So we want to thank you all for joining, and we're going to kick it off by why are the reasons for attending AACRAO 2025? One of the first reasons to attend AACRAO is to learn. You have an opportunity to learn from fellow registrars, admissions officers, and folks in enrollment management. It's also an opportunity to expand your professional development and learn about something new. AACRAO is a wonderful way to network. I cannot tell you how many times I have walked up to colleagues and said, how do you do this at your institution? And I have other colleagues come up to me and say, how did you do this at Cincinnati? It's also another opportunity to see, maybe you're going to learn something from an institution that you may be moving to or have a job opportunity in. You never know who you're going to meet at AACRAO, and you never know where your career is going to take you. You also may be delivering a presentation at AACRAO, and that's an opportunity to share what you and your institution are doing with other members of the AACRAO community. Evaluate a vendor products and services. Don't be intimidated by our vendors and or the vendor exhibit hall. This is an opportunity for you to be an influencer at your institution. Go in, talk, learn something new. I've had a colleague of mine go into the vendor hall, not at all looking for a product, just was interested, came back to our institution, talked about it, we set up a demo, and then a year later, we were implementing this tool as an enterprise solution at University of Cincinnati. So go in there, be an influencer, and learn something new. AACRAO is also a great opportunity to rejuvenate yourselves. It's an opportunity to share with one another. We're all going through the same things together. We're not alone in what's happening. You're not alone in what's going on at your institution, and you have a community to surround yourself with. It's an opportunity to share positives. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to say, we've got this, and how are you doing it? AACRAO also is a great way to get involved. You can start off small and just sign up for a committee or in a caucus or something else. You have an opportunity to get involved at the national level. But the most important part about AACRAO is you've got to have fun. It's an opportunity, yes, that you're there to learn. And yes, you're there to bring things back to your institution. And yes, it's professional development. But at the end of the day, you really should go in there having a great time, walking away and wanting to come back. So what are key experiences at AACRAO? One of the big key experiences is the AACRAO business meeting, the federal regulations update, and Sunday we have the experience AACRAO for our first time attendees.
And I'm going to speak about the keynote sessions and plenary. We have a lot planned for you. I was looking over this last night. So our opening session on Sunday would be Lex Gillette. And this is what he's going to talk about. No need for sight when you have a vision. What blindness can teach us about risk and leadership. He is an athlete and a speaker. I look forward to that. And then Monday morning, institutional compliance collaboration needed for federal regulation for institutional and programmatic quality and accountability. Try saying that 5 times real fast. That will be very interesting. We'll also have our highly respected Leroy Rooker back for FERPA. Get in there early. The room will be filled. He'll be conducting this session with Dale King. And then we'll have Tuesday morning, harnessing AI for transfer learner success. innovations in advising and mobility. And I believe the federal relations update will be conducted by Bill Gill and Michael Bilfinger. And make sure you come and hear about all the new policies, current emerging policies, and all these things on Wednesday morning. Our closing plenary speaker will be Simon Anderson, who is a futurist. He's a co-author of the award-winning book, Foresight 2020, A Futurist Explores the Trends Transforming Tomorrow, which identified emerging opportunities in 12 industries. So please come. A lot of planning has gone into this. The people that you see on this Zoom meeting and some that are here as a part of it have planned. Becky and some of the others on the team have planned very hard, planned very well for your needs to be met and that you can take something back to your institutions.
And then another thing that you should look for and make an effort to go to are the state and regional receptions. So these typically are held on Tuesday evenings. So you can check in the Whova app, that we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit, or also check your state and regional association web pages for more details on those events that are great for networking and getting to know folks.
So I'll talk a little bit about AACRAO structure. It's really difficult to come up with one slide that really encompasses all of that. So let me just share with you a little bit about AACRAO. AACRAO is a nonprofit, voluntary, professional association working to make higher education more responsive to learners. With a membership of more than 18,000 higher education professionals at approximately 2,300 institutions in more than 40 countries, collectively representing over 16.5 million enrolled learners. The association provides advocacy, research, and policy-based guidance and training to higher education professionals to smooth the path for learners in every stage of their journey. AACRAO is a higher education community because we are all in a group. We're all a part of a group with a common focus, and that is learner success. We're all invested in the welfare and vitality of our institutions and the students we serve. Our values are collaboration, innovation, inclusivity, inquiry, and integrity. Let me tell you a little bit more about our structure. AACRAO is governed by a board of directors elected by the membership, elected by you, who set policy and guidelines for the association. The board leadership, the AACRAO board, is led by the president, who is supported in their role by the president-elect and past president. There are vice presidents representing the different areas AACRAO supports, including admissions, enrollment management, international education, academic services, leadership and management development, access and equity, and information technology. And under those are committees. The board also includes 2 vice presidents at large and a director external to the AACRAO membership. We are all volunteers, and AACRAO's activities are carried out through various committees, which we're going to want you to join, composed of members and supported by AACRAO staff who support the committees and manage day-to-day operations.
Okay, in addition to today's webinar, there are some additional sessions and opportunities for first-time attendees that we want to make you aware of. So the 2 upcoming webinars, there is Know Before You Go, which will be held on March 14th from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then again, talked about Whova, which is the mobile app that'll serve as your guide to the conference. There is a How to Whova webinar, which will introduce the app, include how to navigate it, find your way to the agenda, engage in discussions, as well as networking with other attendees. That's going to be held March 18th from 2 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then at the annual meeting, there are some events for first-time attendees. There is a first-time attendee meeting session that is by invitation. That'll be held on Sunday, March 31st at 3:15 p.m. in the afternoon. And then following on Monday, in case you missed it, which is an introduction to AACRAO and the annual meeting. And then lastly, a roundtable, which is a first-time attendee wrap-up. That'll be held on Wednesday, the last day of the annual meeting.
So we're throwing a lot of information at you, and now you have to decide what session should I attend. I would suggest first defining your goals. What do you want to gain from the conference? Are there specific challenges that you are seeking, or are you trying to solve a problem at your institution or in your unit? Have a clear objective will help you prioritize which sessions, since there are going to be multiple sessions during each time slot. I suggest balancing the familiar topics with your new topics. You may want to go to sessions that reinforce what you're already an expert in your field in, or what you're doing on your day-to-day. But don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and go to a few sessions that are something new or a different topic or a different area that you're not quite familiar with. You never know where you're going to go, and so having a bigger depth and grasp of what's going on, it will help you. And always have a backup plan. I always suggest having 1, 2, or even 3 sessions that you can go to as a backup. There are multiple session types. One is a breakout session. Usually breakout sessions are 50 to 75 minutes with a presenter, with a PowerPoint and or a video where you can go in and you kind of sit down and just listen to the presenter. Panels are 50-minute presentations given by 3 or more co-presenters. There are still slides or video context could be expected, but not always. And panels have the benefit of providing a variety or complementary perspectives on common topics. There may often be questions, and there may be a question or answer time period for panels.
Roundtables are 50-minute discussions led by a presenter on topics at the forefront of the field. Still slide and or video content are often included as visual prompt talking points for the discussion. Roundtables do not follow a standard lecture format. They're interactive and involve sharing from the audience throughout the session. These are some of the most interesting and I want to say fun and informative formats, because this is where people come together and share what they're actually experiencing at their particular college, and they will receive feedback and information from those who are also experiencing the same thing and maybe found solutions. These are 50 minutes long, and every time I've ever been in a round table, it could have gone on for 2 hours. This is how great they are.
And finally, we have workshops. Workshops are usually pre-registration, and some may be associated with a cost, but it's a great opportunity to deep dive into a specific topic that interests you. Strategies for success. Do logistics and planning. Know where you're going, get a layout of the conference center. The conference center is usually very, very large. Again, we've already talked about planning out your sessions and what you're going to go to, and know where your sessions are within the conference center. Get a map out of Whova. We'll go deep dive back into that Whova app, and you'll know where you're going, if it's a round table, if it's a panel, or if it's a breakout session. Let's go into self-care. Self-care is critical during this time at AACRAO, and we're going to kind of go into the food, water situation, but also taking a moment for yourself. I highly suggest bringing a water bottle with you while you're at AACRAO. It's a great opportunity to refill. There'll be stations for you to get water. Know where your food layout is at the conference session, but also if you need to, don't be afraid to take a moment and step back and give yourself a break. Understanding that your institution is covering the cost of the conference, it is okay to take a moment to self-reflect, self-care while you're doing that. Also go to the vendor products and exhibit hall. The exhibit hall is a great opportunity, again, to figure out new and exciting things that are going on in the world of higher education. It's an opportunity to touch base with your current vendor and seek new products. Networking and connecting are huge during the AACRAO sessions. You have an opportunity to talk with colleagues from across the country. And there's also going to be a new fun network luncheon on Monday, March 31st, so be sure to register for the luncheon.
Molly, I think we have a question before we go on to this slide.
Yes.
This is Becky Fowkes. I'm the Director of Meetings with AACRAO, and I just wanted to let everyone know in the spirit of self-care that we will have something new at this year's annual meeting, and we are calling it the Tranquil Room or the Tranquil Space, and it's going to be a small room with some comfortable seating, hopefully electronics free for people who just need to be in a quiet space away from movement and signs and all the things. So that will be open Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for some self-care. So I just wanted to say that out loud.
Thanks, Becky.
Hey, talk a little bit about Seattle. The weather in Seattle in late March, early April is likely to be pretty variable, and it'll be most likely cool, and the chance of rain is pretty good. Big surprise, right? Seattle and rain. But
I think we might have lost Steve, so I kind of take over. So yes, I will say Seattle, he was talking about rain. I'll see if I can catch his thread, but he was talking about rain. And so Seattle, it kind of stops and starts. I would recommend bringing a rain jacket or an umbrella, but it's usually not too heavy a rain. So it's what is within your comfort. I think we would talk about also be sure to bring comfortable shoes. There's a lot of things to do within a walking distance. And so if you're, and it has lots of hills, so just be prepared for that, of doing a lot of hills, because it's a very hilly part of the downtown, but there's a lot of things really close walking distance. The airport is about 14 miles away from Seattle, but there's a light rail that you can use as an option to get from the airport to to whatever your hotel is. It takes about 40 minutes. And then with either an Uber, Lyft, or taxis as well. And then even when you're downtown, there's a light rail, streetcar, buses, Uber, Lyft, taxis, all the things that you would expect in a major city. And then there's a monorail that is a really short ride from the Westlake Center to the Seattle Center. If you're wanting to explore the site of the 1962 World's Fair, for example, where the Space Needle is. We also have Mop-Up, which is the Museum of Popular Culture, Chihuly Garden, if you're familiar with Chihuly glass, and a lot of other things in that area. Seattle also has a great, wonderful food scene with lots of restaurants that are very walkable. Pike Place Market is super close with lots of dining options. And if you aren't already familiar, coffee is essential Seattle culture. So there is a coffee shop everywhere. You will get your fix no matter what, including Starbucks, but there are lots of places other than Starbucks, and many, many independent spots. So your sightseeing options also depends on how much time you're going to give yourself, either before or after the conference, how far you want to travel from the location. But yes, it includes Seattle Center, Pike Place Market, waterfront areas that include the Big Wheel, the Seattle Art Museum, Seattle Aquarium, lots of sports opportunities really close by. There will be Seattle Mariners playing while you're in town that play at the T-Mobile Field, which is a pretty short light rail trip. And I would say Seattle is safe, but use your common sense you would anytime you're traveling to a major city. It's important to take precautions and be aware of your surroundings. Much of the downtown is safe, but we would recommend after dark avoiding areas like 3rd Avenue and Pioneer Square. But if you're something there you want to do, just take an Uber there. It's just more about walking, especially by yourself. And stick to kind of populated, well-lit areas. Honestly, these are things you would advise anybody in any major city, right? Just be safe and aware, travel in groups, know exactly where you're going, and if you don't, maybe consider an Uber instead.
So we are briefly going to touch on the Hoove app, because we've mentioned a few times, but again, the app will be available on March 17th, and there will be a webinar to deep dive into Hoove. Hoove is your one-stop shop for the AACRAO conference. There's opportunities to join communities or create communities. There's an opportunity to select the sessions you want to go to. There's an opportunity to tie yourself to your social media accounts, edit your profile, take notes, download all the presentations. Truly, it is a wonder in an app. Do not let Whova overwhelm you. It can seem that way at times. It is such a fantastic tool that we have available to us at AACRAO, and I know by the end of the conference, you're just going to love it. So again, just wanted to give you a high-level overview of what it looks like since we've talked about it a few times. But I hope you join us at our webinar.
Next, we'll talk, just some tips we have, and I'll talk about the dress code a little bit. I suggest business casual for attending meetings. If you're presenting, I suggest business professional attire. If you're networking to meet people who may hire or recommend you, I sort of suggest business professional attire. It depends on your goal. If you meet someone who's employed in a position you are interested in, observe what they're wearing, especially if they're a hiring manager. So you're getting to know people. You're going to find out what their roles are and whether they can impact your career, or you can, by knowledge or collaboration or whatever. And then wear comfortable shoes and take the weather into consideration.
I'll talk a little bit more about food. We already heard that there's lots of food options in the downtown Seattle area, particularly if you are willing to walk about 10 minutes, your options increase. There are some food options in the convention center itself or nearby, but your options greatly expand, again, if you're willing to walk about 10 minutes. Seattle is hilly, so comfortable shoes.
Hey, and then we also recommend that you consider bringing your business cards. You can use those for pretty easy giveaways with the vendors or share with your attendee friends. But I'd also just talking more about the Whova app, there is nothing the Whova app isn't. It does everything. So you can tag your schedule, and like Molly said earlier, highly recommend that you pick more than one session, because some sessions do fill up fast, especially FERPA ones tend to fill up. You'll get to the room 10 minutes early and it's already full, and then you'll have a backup session unless you want to stand. That happens too. But then also in the Whova app, that's where you can post photos, you can meet friends. If you forgot your business cards, don't stress out, because it's a great way to connect with people and share contact information, message each other. You can also read more about the sessions that you're interested in if you want to know about the speakers or speaker information in there. I think Molly said earlier there'll even be a map of the spaces. There'll be links to the Seattle area. Honestly, just take some time to kind of dig through. There's so many features to that, and then highly recommend, if you really want a hands-on tutorial, to go to the Whova webinar, How to Whova. But yeah, can't recommend that enough. It'll be available, I think, is it March 17th? Is when it will be available for this particular conference or annual meeting. But you can download the app now. So it should be in whether you're Android, Apple, whatever, it should already be available in your app store. And then I think you won't be able to find this annual meeting quite yet, but it'll be soon.
We also have the AACRAO Help Booth. If at any point in time during the conference you need help with the app or have any additional questions, the AACRAO staff is phenomenal and will be able to assist. There will also be the AACRAO bookstore. If there's a particular topic or things that you're looking for, the bookstore has a variety and it's fantastic. The Seattle Hospitality booth will also be available Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday if you have questions between now and then about Seattle, or if you have questions where to go, recommendations, etc. And then there'll also be the New Orleans booth, because that's where we're going next year. And so the New Orleans booth will be set up so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like next time. And then again, always, you've got to have fun at AACRAO.
So we'll talk about lessons learned. First of all, I'm so happy that you all came to the session today, and I'm so happy that you'll be at the annual meeting. And I hope I get to meet a lot of you. I have a colleague here from the board named Julia Pomerank, and I think between Julia and me, we hug our way through the AACRAO annual meetings. So I look forward to meeting you all. Do not hesitate to stop and say hello. And I don't know if we talked about this with the app. You can create community. Did we say something about if you want to meet up with people who were running at 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever, you can do that. So let's talk a little bit about lessons learned. I come from a community college. I've had experiences in 4 years in graduate level institutions, but community colleges don't have a lot of money. Our budgets are tight. So I want to suggest, and budgets are tight in many institutions. So I'm so happy that you're supported in this. I suggest that you send a thank you to the person who approved and paid for your participation. List the sessions you attended and how you will use this knowledge to improve your work and benefit the students and the institutions you serve. Also schedule time to share your knowledge with other colleagues. And very importantly, network and get to know your peers. This is your chance to foster potential collaborations and share knowledge. And after you attend, prepare to present during the next annual meeting. If you're solving a problem at your institution, that is a presentation. One of my favorite sayings is that you should surround yourself with people who will call your name in a room full of opportunities. The people you meet, get to know, and collaborate with may just be those people. Have fun.
I 100% agree with Cassandra, and I would even say challenge yourself to meet 1 or 2 people outside of your state while you're at AACRAO. It's such a wonderful opportunity to break out from what you know in the everyday. I also would say, don't hesitate to come up to us at AACRAO at all. You now have 4 folks that you know that you can come up to us, ask us a question. If we don't know the answer, we will find it for you and we will message you through Huva. So come up, say hi. We would love to hear from you.
I think back to my first big AACRAO meeting that I attended in 2007, and I was overwhelmed and I really didn't know what to expect. And so I also want to validate that that can be normal if you've never been to a meeting like this of this size, that it's a lot to take in, but you're doing the right thing by being proactive and learning and having a plan in advance. And just know that your peers around you are there to support you and help you, and not something that you need to be scared of. But if you do feel overwhelmed, that's also normal too.
Yeah, I would echo that too. And no, even like Molly said, not only us 4, but if you go to any of the hospitality booths, there's always somebody there to help. That's what they're there for. Help you find something, answer a question, whether it's about the area that we're currently in or going to be at, but also just to help navigate the convention center, because it can be overwhelming. And I'd also really challenge you, not only like we talked about, look at what are things you want to solve at your institution, but also go to a session that's about something you've never even thought of.
That's true.
Because even if it's not something you're already considering for your college, you might, after you go to that session, you might get some nuggets that you can really take back. Don't be afraid to just try something new in a new conversation. So those would be my 2 big tips.
Questions for us?
I missed this because I came in kind of late, but I wanted to know, you can sign up for sessions in person, right? Like you don't have to always do it through the app. Can you like get there early and try to sign up, or?
I would say, first of all, you don't have to sign up for sessions. With the Huva app is just great for you to be able to organize what you want to keep track of and attend, but it's not required to actually sign up for what you want to go to. But the Huva app is where you're going to know what sessions are even available and where they're at, because we don't have a printed guide. Does that answer your question, Lauren?
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
This is Becky. I'm gonna answer a question I see in the chat about a suggested beginner's schedule. So we do not have a suggested beginner's schedule that we lay out, but every session in the app has a track or even 2 tracks, and you can search the program by track. So if you are looking for sessions about international education, you can filter down to just see what's international education, or if you want to see sessions that are about admissions, you can filter down to admissions. So that's, and we'll go into this more in the How to Whova, but you are able to put your schedule together in a more filtered way. There are some sessions that we will track or label with a first timer. And so that's like the sessions that I talked about earlier in the presentation, the first time experience AACRAO and the in case you missed it, and the first time attendee wrap up. So there will be a few sessions that'll be tagged for first time attendees to be sure to add to their schedule. And I hope that answers that question. The other thing to say about adding sessions to the schedule on Whova, you'll be able to see, oh, okay, you know, FERPA in real life has 280 people that have added it to their schedule. Don't let that scare you from still trying to get in. Because so many people are adding 2 and 3 sessions per time slot to their schedule to, you know, kind of piece their schedules together, that doesn't mean that there's going to be 280 people in the room. So if it's a session you really want to attend, don't let that number scare you. Go ahead and add it to your schedule and just get there early. The seating is first come, first serve. So
I'm just going to tell you, if you're interested in FERPA with Leroy Rooker, get there early. I mean, for as long as I've been active in AACRAO, and it's been a long time, that his room is always fills up. We've sometimes had 2 sessions, it's still filled up. So FERPA, like when I'm an admissions person, but my colleagues that will be coming to AACRAO, they're coming with FERPA questions. So they're just very focused on getting in that room with Leroy and Dale King, and they may just show up 30 minutes before just to make sure they have a seat. So I'll just share that with you.
And, you know, be a good colleague if you can. You can tell a session's filling up. Take the backpack off of the chair that's next to you and let someone sit with you so that more people can benefit from the learning. The sessions do not typically repeat because the presenters want to go enjoy the conference, but I'll let anyone else that wants to speak to that, Erin or Chantel or anyone else. Molly?
I would just say we have an ambitious group of topics to cover for a very diverse audience base, right? We have not only admissions and registrars people, but we have advisors and IR people, financial aid professionals, et cetera. And so we want to give you the most holistic and relevant experience as possible. And so we welcome new voices. And Cassandra, thank you for encouraging people to present in the future, because we want to make sure there's something for everyone. It's a big, you know, investment for your institutions to send you to these places. And we want to make sure there's a lot of relevance out there to choose from. Anyone have anything to add to that?
And let me say this, we help people if they need some help with the sessions. And Becky, do you do any, I know you do a lot, so you're gonna have to help me recall, do you do any kind of webinar on session development or anything?
There's a webinar that we offer in July.
I thought so.
Preparing to submit a proposal for the
Yeah.
annual meeting. So the program chair and vice chair have a really nice introduction to here's how you put your sessions together. Here's how you find co-presenters. Here's how you write your proposal. And it's a fantastic introduction. Good review too, even if you've done it before, a good review.
So you're not doing it alone. Don't be afraid. when I started presenting a lot, I had to present for my institution to support my participation. And so I was really thinking about, what am I doing? What am I solving? What are the problems, kind of thing. But when I started, once I did it by myself, I realized that I was much more, and I would be much more impactful if I invited others to participate with me. So I'm community college. I would have someone from a four-year college. I'd have someone from graduate school. And it was just wonderful to have that one topic be so broad and cover so much. And people got a lot more out of it with this broad knowledge. And then there was some things we had in common. But I have done that. Done a lot of that with people who were new to the profession. This is who I invited. People who were new to the profession, people never presented before, and you help them because you've been doing it. And then, they do it with you one time and they're on their own. And so we have this lovely group of seasoned presenters.
I just wanted to throw out with regards to a session not repeating, if you find that there's multiple sessions that you're interested in that are at the same time and there's one that you are not able to go to, in the Whova app, you can typically find the presentation in there. So the PowerPoint, it's not the same as being there, but at least you can still get some of that content, as well as know who the presenters are in case you want to reach out to them to ask more questions.
Any additional questions? These are good ones.
There is information, or there should be information. I'll check this now, make sure I'm not making this up. But if you do want to add, let's say you registered for the conference in December, right when it opened, or in January to get the early bird rate. And now you've decided, oh my gosh, I want to add this workshop, I want to add that luncheon. You can still go back in to the portal, like you act like you're registering for the meeting again. You just click, register here, and it will, when you've logged in, you'll see manage my registration, and you can click a button that says manage my registration, and then you can add a new session, and that's how you can add a luncheon or a workshop to your existing registration. Is just by logging in again and adding some new sessions. So it's not too late.
I think a tip I do want to add that we may not have mentioned, if you are out and about exploring Seattle, a good kind of tip would be remove your badge while you're exploring Seattle, one, so you don't lose it into, so people don't know that you're just visiting.
But with that in mind, make sure that you do have your badge when you're in the convention center. So a lot of the external parts of the convention center are open to the public, but where the breakouts and the meeting sessions are being held is within, they'll check pretty strictly to make sure that you have your badge on. So don't forget it in your hotel.
So I see a couple questions in the app about hotel rooms and about Whova. So I'll speak to the hotel rooms first. So we have added all of the rooms that we're able to add to the block. We added rooms at the Motif and we added rooms at the Paramount. There are still rooms available at the Sheraton starting on Sunday night. So if you're looking for a Sunday check-in and a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday, or maybe even a Friday checkout, there are still rooms in the block at the group rate at the Sheraton. Last time I checked, we had 30. So those those are almost out. But the Hyatt has over 100 rooms still available for check-in starting on Saturday. And the Hyatt is, I think, a 2-block, 3-block walk. It's really quite close. And it's not across the street like the Sheraton is, but it's very close. Nice little walk to get from the Hyatt. So there's plenty of room still at the Hyatt. Sheraton's just about sold out. Hyatt, you can get in on Saturday. We did add rooms at the Paramount, which is it's a smaller kind of a boutique hotel, kind of cool, kind of, it's also within just a couple of blocks walking distance to the hotel. So that's hotel rooms. And to get the AACRAO rate, if there is availability, you have to have your reservation in by March 7th. So if you can click the link on March 8th, and it's going to tell you there are no rooms available. There may be rooms available at the Hyatt, but you'll have to book through the Hyatt. So try to get your reservation in before the blocks close. The Whova app, it's the AACRAO, the 2025 annual meeting program for the Whova app hasn't published yet. So you can download Whova, you can create an account, you can fish around looking for other people's apps, but AACRAO hasn't published yet for the annual meeting for 2025. I will say, if you haven't set up a Whova account yet and you're doing that now, just in your excitement and waiting for the app to publish, please be sure to use the email address that you used to register for the conference, because that is how we add people to the program, so that giving them access to signing in, it has to match your email that you used to register for the conference. So that's a tip. When you're adding Whova, be sure to get an email address that matches, or it'll not let you in. And then you're gonna ask your friend for the link, and they're gonna send you the link, and then it's gonna tell you, oh, we don't see you, but can you enter a passcode? You're going to email me and you're going to ask for a passcode, and I'm going to say, nope, you need to get your email address in order so that so you can log into the app. And like we said, we're expecting to publish the app on March 17th. Hopefully earlier. If we go earlier, there'll be an announcement, but by the 17th for sure. Let's see. Yep, the lanyard colors mean something. Well, that's purple is first-time attendee, green is returning attendee, royal blue is our lovely board, turquoise blue is AACRAO staff, red and yellow are our corporate friends. So yeah, the colors do tell us a little bit about who's doing what. And there will be a ribbon wall for you. Be sure to pick up your badge and then go check out the ribbon wall. You can add fun little ribbons to the bottom of your badge about, are you a first-time attendee? Are you a night owl? Are you a admissions guru? So there's some fun ribbons to play with there. Yes, the purple, yes. Yeah, the ribbons go fast. Yep.
You'll also notice that people decorate their lanyards with pins, either for the current location or the future location. Probably vendors will have pins, but you'll see lots of pins on lanyards too.
Is an ID required for a badge? No. But sometimes we get temps that ask for them anyway, so bring ID. That's a good idea. Bring ID. We're expecting about 1,800 people. Right now we have about 1,400 people that are registered, so we're pacing right as we pace here. So we're expecting about 1,800 people. There is not a virtual component of this year's meeting other than the business meeting. So that is, if you are a voting member for AACRAO, I definitely recommend that you take a few minutes to prepare yourself to vote. The voting will be virtual, but there are some instructions. You have to log in. You have to click a QR code. You need to probably have read the bylaw, the things that are on the docket for voting. So be sure to read when you see something about voting, read what's in front of you and be prepared for that at the business meeting on Tuesday morning. Yes, come to Experience AACRAO for sure. Lots of prizes at Experience AACRAO and all first timers.
It's a lot of fun, even for those of us who are not new.
And Becky, did you say prizes or surprises or both?
Both. And one thing people ask sometimes about the opening reception, so it's not dinner, but there is food. So it really just sort of depends on what kind of eater you are. But there's a cash bar, there's past, light cocktail type food. It's not just crackers and cheese, but we'll have some yummy things. But definitely the opening reception on Sunday night is not to be missed. It's really fun way to kick off the meeting.
AACRAO has a booth as well. So we'll be in that booth. Julie is a fellow board member. I think Hollis here. And we'll be hanging out in that AACRAO booth. And come by and say hi and see us. And if you're Julia and me, you'll get a hug.
Mm-hmm.
This is Julie. I'll just kick in that while you're in a line to get food at the reception, to pick up crackers and cheese and yummy things, it's a great time to turn to the person beside you and say, hello, who are you? And so I would say that so much of the networking and connection is walking to a session. Who do you sit next to at the session? Talking to someone in the reception line. One of my best colleagues for PACRO and AACRAO I met because we were both in line getting food a couple years ago at a reception. So there's lots and lots and lots of opportunities to make a connection, and think of all the ways you make connections now, right? Someone is wearing a red shirt and you like the red shirt. I mean, all the ways. There's no, special AACRAO professional way to connect with people. I mean, there probably are, but it could also just be whatever attracts, your attention and makes a connection with you. And one of the ways that can do it is if you have stickers or if you have pins to say, oh, hello, but all the ways that you make connection with folks. And I think the AACRAO folks are really happy to have, we're all happy to have someone say, hello, because we have things in common. We have a common world to talk about. So introduce yourself to folks.
I love that Julia calls Seattle's weather liquid sunshine. What a way to think about it.
And I will say you're gonna see all these people hugging and like so excited to see each other, but you are not the only one that is there for the first time. Hundreds of people are there for the first time. Hundreds. So it's not unusual to feel like at first you're like, oh my gosh, everyone knows each other. No, they don't.
Well, and here's the thing that I challenge us who are, who know other people there, is to stand in a croissant, right? So there's room for the new people, not like a bagel, which is tasty, but there's no room for someone new to come into that. And I think AACRAO really is a croissant shape. Like here we are, and you're open to all of these spaces with us and all these conversations with us. So that's what I encourage folks to remember. I encourage us to remember to stand in croissant shape.
I have a question for everybody. What are people most excited about or most like nervous or anxious about? Because maybe we can help answer some of those. I will share that new places are always a little bit anxiety producing. So I know everybody said get a layout of the conference center. It's okay to walk around and scope things out. And I know Molly I'm putting you on the spot, but last year Molly had like ask me questions, so I like little boards. So I hope we do that again because it was so nice to have people kind of stationed around that you can just ask like, hey, I'm trying to find this place because I always get turned around everywhere I am. So find people and at like it's okay to ask like, hey, I'm looking for this room, this space. Program committee members like Erin and I also are always like walking around, and so we are more than happy to help guide you places.
I see a question in the chat that's asking, oh, looks like we already have an answer. I was going to answer the question about plenary session. That just means it's a session that the entire group attends at the same time. Fancy name for a really simple thing. We also have a question about tips for first timers who are also first time presenters. I see some that are already in there. Definitely the speaker ready room. Also, you can see who else is presenting. There's people will often use the ribbons that say presenter. Maybe ask another person that has a presenter and say like, hey, any tips for me of what to do this first time? I would also recommend that. Maybe even also scope out where you're going to be. So check what room you're in, make sure you know how to get there, how long it's going to take you to get from whatever session you're going to attend before yours. Those would be a couple of tips that I'd have. I don't know if others have tips for first time presenters.
I would say have fun with it. Take a deep breath. Everyone's been a first presenter at one point in time, and then just enjoy it. And then, yeah, just prepare and go to the room. The room is also a great resource. There's folks there to help you as well upload your presentation. And so there's always touch points along the way to make sure that you're successful.
I lost power at the whole college. It just went kaflooey. But anyway, make sure that I always go to the room, even if there's a session before mine. I don't know if you said that. I go a little early just to make sure everything is okay. Because at first I'm anxious, but I tell you a little trick. I walk around the room as people are coming in and I tell them who I am and I thank them for coming. And they think I'm being nice, but it's my way of kind of calming my nerves and getting myself ready. And so by the time I start the presentation, I kind of have a room full of friends, people I'm comfortable with. So I don't stay on the stage and I'll move around and say, thank you for coming. Where are you from? And it works for me. And so, if it works for you, it might be a good way to start the meeting presentation before it starts. Just go around and talk to people.
I love that idea, and it sets a really nice stage for a kind of a personal touch to the material you're talking about, and it does help generate conversation. Somebody in the chat asked if the rooms are too large. They are not too large for participation. Typically, these groups are very chatty. You want to design your presentations with some engagement in mind, whether it's reflective. Think about a time as we talk about this that you can lend this what you're learning to improve next time's outcome. Turn to a partner and chat about a time. We do actively want you to foster engagement. And though the rooms are large, there are people who can help. And I'm happy to, if you contact me offline, give you ideas on how to keep your presentations engaging. I know last year there was a webinar on how to present tips and tricks. I think there was one this year, but I don't see it in the archive yet. So you can look at any of AACRAO's past webinars and search for that if you'd like to. But it does feel really big at first, but it becomes really small really quickly. And the engagement is really positive that you typically have.
And do you know, sometimes I lead with questions because I'm anticipating, I'm admission, so we present a lot. So I'm anticipating what they might be interested in. And I think about the different, where they are in their profession is, depending on what your session is, the audience, intended audience, if it's a general audience, you'll have, people new to the profession, mid-career professionals, and then seasoned. So think about that. If you say that your session, if it says it's general, you might want to anticipate questions from a person who is new to the profession, but who is shy about asking questions, and that kind of thing too. But just engage with them. You'll feel comfortable and they'll feel comfortable asking you questions.
Well, thank you, everyone, on behalf of AACRAO for coming, and we tried to give you lots of time to ask your questions, and I work very closely with everyone you've heard from today, so I will say on behalf of AACRAO, thank you so much to all of our amazing presenters, and thank you for those that took the time to be here with us. We did record it, so we will put the recording on the website so that those that were not able to attend today are able to experience the same learning and excitement that we had here together. So thank you very much. Belma, did you have anything else before we close?
Oh, you wrapped it up very nicely, Becky. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.